Good evening. Ira Epstein with your metal market wrap-up, and this wrap-up is for the evening of Thursday, and we're at the 17th of October, 2024, and we're at 6:30 p.m. Central Time. Well, the head of Hamas was taken out by Israeli forces. You know, once you get on their list, and this has been proven over the years, you don't get off that list, and they generally find a way to do destruction. We don't know who's going to take the place, but the ideal situation is nobody takes the place. Although the gentleman did have a brother that's just as hardcore as he was. We'll see if that is the case. This could be the opening if the people would stand up for them to run their own government, maybe without Hamas, unless Hamas is that ingrained and they want that to be, and people have the right to choose. Nobody knows. But I saw President Biden's reaction. His is the same. Harris is the same. I didn't hear anything from Trump yet on it, but I'm sure everybody's the same. That this was a big event. The man that engineered the October 7th event that started all this, he's gone. And now maybe you just get rid of Hamas and you get a peace deal set up. Who knows? Gold market up today over the 2707 level tonight. You can see the dollar was strong. Interest rates went up today again, and yet the gold is railing. The silver market's come alive. And I wonder if the copper hasn't gotten cheap enough to have value in an area in the 430 level. We're going to talk about Bollinger Bands a little bit as we get going through here because they've taken on some importance. You'll notice I'm skipping over tomorrow's news data because you're just going to get new housing permits and build ideas as to where we're at, and that's not enough to move the markets one way or the other. In the gold, if we were to finish just like this, you're at a new all-time high on a settlement basis, which would be 26.91 on a continuation chart of gold. When you come over to the December contract, and yeah, you've got to remember where the different contract months are. You can see that the market's coming out of this. As I told you, I thought this was an inverted head and shoulder. A shoulder, then you draw the head, and another shoulder. And if it breaks out of that, then I think the 27.50, which isn't that far away, it's about $40 from here, the next upside target. The pattern has been clear with higher lows, higher highs on the chart. Now, one of the things you have to do as a chartist is you have to throw away in your head what the chart is you're looking at. I don't know if you do that ever. But when you think of gold, for example, you'll start thinking of all the things affecting it. The better way to chart, and I teach this in my charting courses, I take the name off the chart. And now you're left to wonder, what is it? Because the whole name of the game, as I see charting, is patterns. And you're looking for trends, you're looking for markets that aren't trending, what type of other indicator is with it that's telling you things. And once you do that, you become a better chartist. I've learned that over the years many times. At that point, you're ready to add back the name if you're strong enough. And it's very difficult. If you're strong enough to stop thinking of this chart as gold. If you're strong enough to say, I can look at days, oh, there's a big report coming out, some event, maybe I don't want to be in a market on that day for markets that might be affected by blah, blah, blah. Barring that, I just look at what the market is doing. I see a market that's got higher lows, higher highs. The battleground is often the 18-day average of closes. Whether this market stays up or not, for the moment it has resolved that battle and the market is working itself higher. And look at the Bollinger Band and understand the resistance. At the end of this, I've got my Bollinger Band ad. Take a look. Go to the website on iraepstein.com and look at courses. Look at enhanced Bollinger Band. Understand the importance when you get up to these numbers or down to them. They're super, super important. You're overbought. You're at the upper Bollinger Band. You're at a resistance point right now. The gold-silver ratio, market has been sitting right here at the 18-day average. You were under it for a good period of time and silver gained. Then the gold took over leadership. If it gets back under, silver takes leadership. If it stays from here and starts moving up, gold will be gaining on the silver. This is how many ounces of silver you'd have to put up to get 1 ounce of gold. In looking at the silver chart, you have higher lows, you have higher highs. As I said, I think the pros were buying. I said this yesterday. I'm saying it again. I think the pros are buying the 18-day average. It's high risk because of the dollars involved. The chart pattern's good. higher lows, higher highs. But you'd have a risk probably even on a mini, one of the 1/5 contracts of $800. That's an awful lot to risk. The better play in silver it's very clear. Where do you think it is? ETF in this case. Many times the ETF's not the play, the futures are. They can flip-flop back and forth. But in looking at the chart, if silver can maintain this pattern, not get back under the low right here, I think you can get up then to the 3270 level. When we look at copper, you came down and look at the lower Bollinger Band. Look at the 100-day average. You didn't get to the gray line, which is the 200, but that's enough. I'm not saying it can't go lower. I am saying there's no need to go lower. The market is now gone from way up here, a straight line down, broke in the neighborhood of 55 cents or so. Enough. Do I pick a bottom? Never. If it embeds, I get more bearish. So again, a chart's a chart, but the first time you hit these numbers together, it's a high probability shorts are taking some money off the table. And if you sell it there, how much risk do you want? Well, I can answer that question to you. You have an outside day down on today. You don't want today's high of 441.35 taken out. If it is, the odds favor the market will then try to rally back to wherever the 18-day average is. At least that's what I teach. In the platinum, you have higher lows, higher highs. It didn't have the strength to get up to the Bollinger Band. Remember we were talking, if this was the strongest of the metals, the first one even had a gold out of the gate and to be bullish, I think the pros took some money off the table today. It just acts like there's profit taking in it. Support is still evident at 997.30 with resistance 1031.70. In the dollar, you continue on up. Now, at some point, people are beginning to realize that we're going to have a heck of a lot of volatility as this election's getting closer and closer and closer. We're under 3 weeks away. The parties are getting lots of interviews on TV. I don't know if you saw the Fox interview with Ms. Harris. It got very contentious. And we will see what happens. Who likes what? Who's going to vote for what? It's going to get very interesting. But the one thing that's a problem is no candidate is saying, let's cut expenses. Let's get the U.S. budget back where it belongs. That's not happening. And gold and the dollar are realizing that. So traders keep doing this buying. Today we saw the European Central Bank. What did they do? They cut interest rates again. So you got to be careful with what this all is about. If the dollar were to take off, and I don't know that it will, it's the first move over the 200-day average. It had a lot of energy today. Does it give any of that up will be the big question. I wouldn't be surprised to come back and challenge it in this area. But wherever that top Bollinger Band is will be the next resistance point. So learn Bollinger Bands, learn the support resistance. The further they are away from a market, not right on top of it, further away they are when the bands widen out, they're really good support resistance points for you to start learning to work with, okay? And that's the key, learning to work with them, understanding them. I have a course on it. Take a look at it. Maybe you learn a thing or two. I'm Ira. You take care. Welcome. I'm Ira Epstein, and I'm here to talk about my enhanced Bollinger Band course. Now, many of you have taken my regular charting course, and if not, you might think you know something about Bollinger Bands. As you know, Bollinger Bands are an algorithm designed to keep the market trading within it 95% of the time, and on a chart, it will offer on the top part resistance, on the bottom support, and the idea is the market will travel within them. We know that sometimes it latches onto that band, goes up or goes down. Well, how do you play with that? Can you pyramid the positions off that type of thinking? Well, I've applied all three of these into 13 different videos that teach you my concept of it. And from that concept, you're able to work with weekly charts and or daily charts. The 13 videos, each about 7 minutes long. The idea here is not to put you in school forever, but to teach. Now, If you haven't tried my complete futures research, I throw that in as well. Whether you've tried this or not, I think it's worth taking a look at. I think you're going to learn something from there. That research, by the way, covers twice daily market updates for you and access to what I call window envelope numbers, which I think are very important when looking at these Bollinger Bands. The next part is a trial to our charting software so you can make your charts look the same way that mine do. It's that simple. Where do you go with it and how do you get all this? It's simple. You go to our website, www.iraepstein.com. If you go to the word education, everything you need is answered there. You can also call my staff. They'll be happy to help you get set up. I'm Ira Epstein, on the road to your education.